What's poppin', you guys? Whoop! This is water, by the way. All right, I'm gonna give it a minute for people to join in. But you know why I'm here, all right? It's time for that weekly live to discuss the latest episodes of The Last Dance. I swear this series just keeps getting better and better and better and better. This team that made this documentary, they need to start producing all of ESPN's documentaries. In fact, they just need to start producing all documentaries in general. They're doing an awesome job. What up, Brandon? Hey, Ian. Woo! Happy you guys are on here. So let's talk about my outfit real quick, okay? Part of the reason I needed to rep the Lakers is because, what up, Malcolm? Is because I've been doing a lot of episodes about The Last Dance, and I don't want it to get twisted. I've even been saying nice things about Michael Jordan. I mean, you have to. But I don't want it to be twisted about where my loyalty lies ever. Y'all know I rep the purple and gold for life, and Kobe is my GOAT. Now that we got that out of the way, what's poppin', guys? Let's say hi really fast. And yeah, happy Cinco de Mayo. What up, Willie? What up, Elijah? Akash? Yeah, Laker love. What up, Corey? Yeah, I'm so happy you're all in here. All right. So actually this shirt, little backstory, and then we'll get into it. I got this shirt when I went to Byron Scott's first Laker game as a coach. Y'all remember that? Staples Center handed these out back for more. And then it has his name on the back. All right, let's talk about episode 5. How many of you guys watched it? Okay, so they start off by showing in loving memory of Kobe Bryant, which was like a knife to the heart instantly. You guys, I don't know if I'm in denial or if this is just part of the grieving process, but this still does not feel like real and honest. And I know it's been 4 months, well, 3 months. It happened at the end of January. And I feel like it's like a joke or a hoax. It just doesn't feel true. Does anyone else feel that way, or have you come to terms? Now, I will say before we jump into it, Kobe, okay, I want to see what you guys, yeah, Kobe was not featured a ton in episode 5. Everyone thought that episode 5 was going to be like practically about Kobe, and he's only in the beginning, and then you never see him again or hear about him again. All right, 2 things. I kind of just from like a production standpoint understand why they would do that. I think they're trying not to make this documentary about anyone other than Jordan. And Kobe, in my opinion, is definitely the player that is the most like him. And of course, with Kobe's recent passing, it would be very easy to turn this documentary and make it about Kobe, which I don't think they wanted to do. But also, my heart could not have taken it if they made it a whole episode about Kobe. I'm not ready for that, okay? I'm not ready. I still can barely watch a Kobe highlight. And while I am supporting my girl Vanessa on IG, every time she posts, I have to brace my heart. I almost can't even look at it. I'm just not there yet. So I still need some time. I don't know about you guys. But I want to talk about this brotherhood between Kobe and Michael Jordan, because one thing that tripped me out for a moment. Now, I know that Kobe earned Michael's respect early, okay? But, I mean, he earned it real early. At that All-Star game, Kobe's 19 years old, okay? And you see him walk by Michael Jordan and slap him on the arse. By the way, guys, quick side note, I am replacing what I would normally say with things like arse because I want to keep my video monetized. Okay? Thank you for my TED Talk. Thanks for coming. Anyway, this 19-year-old Kobe slaps MJ on the arse. Can you imagine imagine if Kobe had his 5 rings and some rookie came and slapped him on they would have been carrying him out in a stretcher, like a body bag, for sure. I mean, there are stories of Kobe not even letting his own teammates that were young speak to him, okay? Like, because they weren't on his level. And then you see a young Kobe who has the galls, leave me alone, YouTube. Don't demonetize us. To slap freaking MJ on the art. That was an awesome moment. It just showed that, like, how comfortable they were with each other, and yeah. Okay, I want to draw. Sup, Justin? Ian Jackson says Kobe should have been shown more debate. Yeah, respects, because him and Jordan were brothers, basically, and he did so much for Kobe. He did, and I think just how Kobe was good at giving himself credit, especially when he was younger. And then as he got older, he became more humble in the sense that he would be like, oh, that's for other people to say. That's for other people to say, but we knew. But Kobe straight up in the documentary gives Jordan all the respect and all the credit for making him who he is. And that just shows Kobe's level of respect. And then when you heard MJ speak at Kobe's memorial at Staples Center, and he cried again, his public crying, you saw and could feel the love and the brotherhood that they have. And I think Jordan was willing to give that type of attention to anyone who had the same love for the game that he had, and anyone who was willing to put in the work. And he recognized that in Kobe. And that's why I think he gave Kobe the time of day. I think that's why Kobe was the 19-year-old that was allowed to slap MJ on the arse. Yeah, just like, you don't do that. You're still in your hazing phase, you know? I don't even know if Magic Johnson had the luxury to do that. What up, Chris? What do you mean Kobe is gone? He's still hearts and memories of Lakers fans around the world. He is, that's for sure. But it's still a hard pill to swallow. Everything that happened doesn't make sense. I still am like waiting for this to somehow not be true. It just doesn't feel real. So, oops. I want to hear, for those of you who have watched it, tell me your thoughts so far on the documentary episodes 5 and 6. I'll tell you what's not getting enough credit and airtime and play on social media is that commercial that was done for Converse with Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and they were rapping or trying to. First of all, I'm surprised they allowed that to be shown. But second of all, like, where are the memes? You guys get on this. We are wasting a valuable moment. We need to make a meme out of that. That was too good. That was too good. Okay. Jordan meme was revived in the day when Kobe passed that moment. Made me tear up. Yeah, so the moment Kobe had on the documentary was really brief, but like I said, I get it. I understand why they did that. And to be honest, I don't even know if I could have taken more. By the way, today is Vanessa Bryant's birthday. It's Cinco de Mayo. Go to her Instagram and show her some love. Okay, I have to say though, I want to know specifically who was the visionary at Nike that was like, all right, we need to find this kid, Michael Jordan, and we need to give him his own shoe. We're going to pay him top dollar, even though he's a rookie in the league. Who was that visionary? Because you know, like, probably so many people in that company didn't see the big picture, did not see the vision. I mean, MJ didn't even want to go with them. He wanted Adidas, which is crazy. But I loved watching the business side of the shoe play out. This documentary is giving us so much, you guys. Just so much. So dope to see all of that. Oh, and also, I want to see your comments. When I'm on my phone, Can't always see them. But as we all revel in how great Michael Jordan was, I just want to take a moment to remind everyone. Miko, no barking. Sorry. Miko, stop. Stop. Psycho. He's more of a Kobe fan, so he gets a little upset when we talk so much about Jordan. Miko, stop. Come here. Come here. See, now I lost my train of thought. Come here. You know what? The people want to see you. Guys, he hasn't been able to get a haircut. He hasn't been able to get a haircut in a couple months due to quarantine, so he asks that you just don't judge him. But here's the killer guard dog that's barking. Okay, we're going to put his crazy arse back down. But yeah, it was really cool to see how the shoes were made. Thank you. He's a little crazy. Okay, let's see what else I wanted to talk about. The last thing, I mentioned this in the first recap I did, but it just keeps coming up and it keeps upsetting me more and more, is the way Jerry Krause handled situations. Like, I understand why MJ hated him so much. After every single championship they would win, he would talk to reporters and be like, yeah, I mean, yeah, the team's okay, but the organization is what really won all these championships, okay? The organization, you know, the owner, myself, that's what's really doing all the work. And it's like, yeah, you guys are taking those shots on the court, big boy? Just kidding. Just kidding, guys. Michael Jordan's rubbing off on me. That wasn't me. What up, Adrian? Okay, so we're going over episode 5 and 6 of the documentary. I feel like, seriously, like I said in the beginning, this thing just keeps getting better and better. Chris says Jerry tried to make... Okay, see, that's another thing. That's another thing. The guy was so... How he handled business was so toxic, because he would go behind the players' backs and he would make them upset at other players that he was secretly trying to bring on. He wasn't going about it the right way. If anything, I don't know, it's tough, because it's like, of course some of the decisions he made were great and did lead to all the team's success, but I think some of the decisions he made were also extremely toxic, and who knows how much more success could have happened if he hadn't cut everything short. What's poppin', Nick? But also, so something I was waiting. Okay, what do I think about the political scene? Sorry. So that's okay. I want to talk about that, because I feel like what this documentary did a really good job of showing is how much we take players or celebrities that we idolize, and then we turn them into these gods, and we put the pressure on them for them to do everything. And the moment that they're a human being, we crucify them on a cross, or the moment that they don't do exactly what we want to do, we turn our backs on them. MJ never once said that he supported that guy that they wanted to get elected. Never once did he say, like, yeah, I really believed in what he's doing. He straight up said, I don't even know much about him. I'm not going to publicly endorse someone I don't know much about. I understand why you wouldn't want to do that. And that's tough, to have it all on your shoulders to be the one to try and get someone elected. I mean, he did give the man money, but that's a really tough situation to be in. Because what do you guys think? Should like athletes and celebrities be telling us who to vote for? I almost think in some ways that's an abuse of their power. Or maybe in some ways, listen, if you really believe in something and you can come out and tell me the reasons why you believe this thing, by all means speak on it. But if you're just trying to sway the public one way or another because people want you to, and you don't even know if you have those beliefs or not, I don't know about that. I personally am not a huge fan when people come out and tell me where to vote or how to spend my money, or I don't really like it. What do you guys think? And then Nick says some of it can be biased, but some can have better insight. 100%, Nick. That's why I'm saying, you know, if you truly have a belief in something and you truly feel that something is right or a certain route is the right way to go, come out and tell me why you think this is the right way to go and why you're going to put your vote there or you're going to put your dollar there. And then I can make the decision for myself. But trying to just like sway the masses with your celebrity, I think that's a total abuse of power, to be honest. Adrian says, I think the only reason why people were not a fan of Jordan not standing up for the guy is because of who he was opposing. That's true. That's true, Adrian. I think that was part of it for sure. And at the same time, I think how did that guy get reelected? We knew how awful he was. Jordan shouldn't have, I don't know. To be honest, I don't necessarily fault Jordan in that particular case. Now, where it gets a little dicey is the comment he made that, well, listen, Republicans buy shoes too. Like, he didn't want to offend anyone. But I think his point with that comment was that it's not worth it for him to stick his neck out, potentially damage his brand when he's not even sure. Do we even know how political Jordan is or isn't, or, you know, like, I don't know. Maybe he didn't like either of them. Maybe he just didn't care. It's crazy. Ian says, Ty, that reminds me of Charles Barkley's commercial, I'm not a role model, segueing into their finals matchup. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I think that's something that we in general have to be careful of in this day and age still, is that we make people, especially athletes, into something bigger than what they are. At the end of the day, they're still human beings that are just godly good, in Michael Jordan's case, at their craft. And when you become a great at something, it does open up a lot of doors. Like he said, you know, my endorsement with any business deal I was ever doing was me on the court. Like, he really didn't have to negotiate much. It's just like, look at me. God, I can't wait to be on that level one day. But at the same time, does he not bleed? Is he not a human being? It's hard because it's that old saying, like, with great privilege comes great responsibility. So in general, yes, when you get to that level, you do have to be very careful. But I think in general, Jordan was very careful. I think that's part of the reason he didn't want to get political. And I think it's part of the reason, I mean, there's not much we know about the gambling, which they're starting to hit on. I'm surprised. I was waiting to see if they were going to talk about it. They're not talking about the ladies, which we've all heard rumors of. Maybe they probably won't. Jordan was probably like, certain things are off limits here, which is fine. He did have one of the most, I think Jordan has like the second or third most expensive divorce ever in American history. So, but yeah, that's something we have to be careful about, is these are athletes and they're celebrities, but they're still humans, so we have to be able to forgive some of their mistakes unless they've really crossed an unforgivable line, which some of them do. All right, let me see what some of you guys are saying. Ty, what did you think about Jordan's gambling problem? Here's what I think. I think, and this is another thing, I think Jordan started, like, you can see it in the documentary where there were moments where, to me, he seemed almost depressed. Like when the camera crew came into his hotel room and like the lights were off and he just wanted to watch TV and be by himself, you could tell that this was all just starting to eat at him. I mean, it's not easy to be worshipped. That's a lot of pressure. and to be stalked all the time. And I think that gambling became, like he says it himself, a kind of a distraction from from everything that was happening. And as we know, I think it's pretty public record that his dad was addicted to gambling really badly. So he had that, you know, he was witnessing that, and I think we all know how that played out, like the truth of how that played out. And I covered this one time, so if you didn't watch it, I don't know, I'll try and put the link in this video below after I finish this live, but I think he probably had a little problem with gambling. But I think it was a way to take the edge off, you know? All right, let me catch up on some of these comments. Being a media figure, how do you feel about the media that started to wear Jordan out? That's from Adrian. I think that it's twofold. Number one, the media in some cases, they are just doing their job, because did the fans want to know if Jordan was coming back? Yeah. But at the same time, when you've asked that now for years and he's giving you the same answer every time, you're no longer doing the fans a service by continuing to ask certain questions, because he's not changing his answer. So now you need to be creative and ask other questions, either just other things that people want to know, you know? I've been very vocal about reporters and their questions. I am so sick to death of seeing reporters interview an athlete after a game, after they just won the NBA Finals or the Super Bowl, and they're like, how you feeling right now? I don't know, he just won the Super Bowl. I wonder how he's feeling right now. Like, that's a bad question, because I can answer that for myself. Ask him something else. What was the turning point during the game? What are you gonna do to celebrate after? You know, is it gonna be hookers? I'm just kidding. They do. So I think in one regard, it's like sometimes the media really is just doing its job, but when you realize you are getting the same answer and it's wearing out the player, it's now your job to get creative and give the fans something else that they want. Or if you're smart enough, find a trickier way to go around and ask the question, or get them to open up differently. Like, one thing, when you want to, here's a little trick for all my future reporters out there. If someone, like in Jordan's case, had been asked 1 billion times, are you coming back next year? Are you coming back next year? And he keeps saying, maybe, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. Well, one thing you can do that would probably make Jordan feel a little bit better and still touch on the subject, because fans are wondering, is say, Jordan, I know you've been asked 1 million times, like, how, I don't know, something to the extent of, how much does it weigh on you to get asked the same question? And then he's gonna have to talk about it, but he won't be as defensive, like, yeah, man, you know, I'm just trying to figure out my mind, or I'm just not ready to share my answer yet, or whatever. And then you'll start getting like answers from him in a different way, but it also makes it seem like to him like you're on his side. Okay? There's a little pro tip for me. Do I think Kobe will get a documentary? I mean, I hope so, but I'm still not ready, you guys. Like, if I were watching a documentary like this about Kobe right now, put together like this, it would be heart-wrenching. Because it's just like, you'll see these great moments where you're so proud and you're so encouraged and so inspired, and then you remember how his legend ended, and that's painful. It's hard to get over. It's just too soon. But I do think eventually he's going to have one. They said that he did film his entire last season as a Laker, so eventually we're going to have one. I think we just have to be respectful right now of his daughters and Vanessa, who are still mourning. And that can go on for a while. We're all still mourning, but no one like them. Okay, so Chris says, the media builds you up to bring you down. Look at AI. So, I'm trying to remember who it was, but someone did in the documentary touch on this, how our culture, for some reason, we love building people up, and for some reason it's very entertaining for us to watch them fall. So the minute there's a crack in their foundation, we start trying to pull them down, and that's like entertainment for us. And in some ways that's very true. It was true then, it's very true now in every single industry. People for some reason like other people to watch them fall down. I don't know why. I think that says something just as a society, like stuff we need to work on in our mental. No, but it's true, it goes on. But I think that's why athletes these days also, or anyone that gets to that level of fame and status, you can't let either the good or the bad go to your head. You can't let the love from the public go to your head and make you think, oh, you're this king or this queen or whatever, because when they hate you, then you're gonna be in shambles. But if you stay neutral and you just remember, I'm here to play the game and I'm here to do my God-given abilities and share them with the world, then you just like filter out all that other stuff. That's not what's important. And I think that's a key to all the success that Jordan had on the court, is that he for the most part always kept basketball as the #1 priority. And that's why, like he said, what I do on the court is what speaks for me in any business deal I have. Okay, let me catch up on that. Let's see. Okay, so Yaz Hunt says, hi Ty, would you be willing to watch the Netflix documentary Basketball or Nothing? It's about high school basketball on the Navajo Nation. Okay, so first and foremost, I don't know how many of you know this about me, but I am part Native American, and yeah, I would be willing to watch that. I'll check it out. Remember to check that out, Basketball or Nothing. So Adrian says, is trying to figure out the truth considered bringing people down? Isn't that technically the media's job? I don't like the narrative that the media brings people down. Adrian, it depends on how you do it. So there's a humane way to do your job, ask questions, and get the truth. And part of that is knowing what that person has, like, study what that person has already been asked. They don't need to be asked the same questions a billion times. They've been trained to give back answers, and then you're really not even giving to the fans anyway, because the fans can go and see those same exact answers at any of the other billion outlets who ask that. So you can get the truth, but you have to know how to do it. And that's part of the job of being a good reporter, and not just having a station telling you what to ask. Taking the time to be creative so that you do not put the person on the offensive or the defensive. Unless they're just already on the defensive, then you can't win. And in those cases, you might have to go hard. You're gonna have to go hard to like try and get in there, but try not to make them feel bad. Yeah, your job is to give the media what they want, but your job is actually also to make the person you're interviewing feel comfortable and not tear them down. And honestly, for me, like me personally, I don't think it's a good look when I see a host or a reporter making someone uncomfortable. First of all, if I were the talent or the player, I'd never do an interview with you again. So you're already shutting your career down in certain ways, and you're turning people off. You may get a reaction out of them and some juicy answers, but that's not sustainable in a career. So the two things you can remember, to all my aspiring reporters out there, is to make the person you're talking to comfortable while keeping in mind what the audience wants. And sometimes you can even say, listen, I know you're sick of talking about this subject, but the fans really want to know. Can you please give me something, a little bit more insight other than you're just not sure? Like, have you made up your mind, or have you not, or is that just something you want to, it's endless. It's endless. Just be creative, and a decent human being isn't so hard, says the girl that was nicknamed a savage. But that's just because I would speak the truth on camera. I wasn't attacking players in my in my presence, but I would speak the truth. And that's another thing. I've said this before too. Are you a host or are you a journalist? Because journalists are supposed to remain non-biased and report what you know to be facts. Someone that's a host or more of a personality like me, it's my job to report the facts, but I'm also allowed to give my opinion. And that's half the reason people pay attention to me and watch me, is partially for my take. And so in that case, I can say, hey, he's lying. You can tell he's lying. Here's why I think he's lying. X, Y, and Z. But if you're a journalist, you really shouldn't be doing that. I would love to watch a live review of Basketball or Nothing. Okay, we're going to have to, okay. You guys, half my job is giving the people what they want. You see this? This is a little note paper where I write my notes of things I need to do. And we are writing Basketball or Nothing. Netflix. Oh my goodness. I just realized we've already been live for 30 minutes. Okay, guys, let me make sure we talked about everything. Shoot. Oh, this is something else I really wanted to say, because I owe Michael Jordan a public apology. A little bit of my criticism for him has been that when he completely left basketball, while he did other things, like he's a boss, entrepreneur, businessman, I get it, I felt like he left the fans in a way, because we no longer had direct access to him. Like, he'd show up every now and then, but then he would disappear for years, and then he'd come back and disappear. But he had these fire shoes and all that. But I get it now. After watching this documentary, I understand why he just wanted a break. I think he never really liked that level of attention. That's one thing I do think Kobe maybe naturally handled better than him, was the publicity, the attention. It looked like it actually got under Michael Jordan's skin a lot more than Kobe's. Kobe stopped playing basketball, but he continued to give interviews. In fact, he built a media company, and then he started doing short videos, and he started doing this, and started doing that. He never left the media. He never left the fans. But Michael Jordan, I think he did not handle that aspect of basketball as well as, I think he hated it more, to be honest, than Kobe did. And so I understand why he kind of removed himself when he could completely, because watching this, I just see how tough it was for him. I swear there were moments when I was watching him and I just felt like the guy was depressed. It's very hard to perform at that level and then give yourself to the media, which is kind of a performance too. And Navajo Nation loves me. What? That's what's up. I'm part Cherokee, but it's all love. All right, so yes. Let's see. Okay, let's end it with this. First and foremost, as I say my closing thoughts about the last two episodes, bombard me with your comments or questions or thoughts about the episode. But I just wanted to say that final moment where MJ finally breaks his 2 weeks of silence after he spanked the media, was like, I'm not talking to the media for 2 weeks. Because when they blew up about him gambling in Atlantic City and all the checks, those books were coming out, what does this mean? He's like, okay, I'm going to do this interview. Homeboy, pretend these are shades. Homeboy puts on sunglasses to do the interview. You don't do that, and he's inside. It's a dark room. If you have nothing to hide, you only do that when you're blocking the people who could read body language and where your eyes move to see when you're lying, okay? That's protection. That was the worst thing he could have done. Where were his PR people? If I were his PR person, anyone who knows me knows I'm really good with PR. I majored in PR and journalism in college. I would have said, take those glasses off. That's automatically admission of guilt. I'm serious. That's how people are going to read it, and rightfully so. Thanks how you have a lot of support on the Navajo Nation. I love that. Okay, Basketball or Nothing. I put it on my to-do list. I'm going to watch that on Netflix, and we'll do a live and talk about it. I'll give you guys a heads up before we do it. Yeah, exactly. So Adrian says, I think Cassidy's interview with Kyrie about Kobe's passing after the game, where she asked if he was okay to talk about it, is a great example of what you're saying. 100%, Adrian. She is giving him an out and making him feel comfortable and not bombarded. And an issue that comes up a lot is that athletes, if you'll notice, like KD is a great example. I mean, he really has a war with the media and reporters. He can't stand any of us. He feels like they're the enemy. I mean, many athletes, many celebrities feel like a reporter is the enemy. But if you're doing a good job as a reporter, you will not allow them to feel that way. They'll feel like you're on their side too. You kind of have to be on everyone's side. You need to try and get the fans what they need to know, but you need to make the person you're talking to feel comfortable enough to share that information with you and to have the out to tell you that they're not going to talk about it if they need to, period. Because if they're not going to talk about it, they're not going to talk about it. And if you just try and burn them on live TV or whatever, you've just killed a relationship for yourself, and you've made yourself look like an arsehole to the rest of the world. Can't get me, YouTube. I said arse. Okay. Watching The Last Dance makes me want to go back and play NBA 2K11 Jordan Challenge on my PS3. Do it! Honestly, watching this makes me super nostalgic too, and it just inspires me to my core. Because while I'm not a basketball player, I mean, I am like on the side. You guys see my old stuff. I used to play. But I'm a storyteller and a host, and I love like this. Watching this documentary inspires me to get better and to keep getting better. You can never be you have to keep working on your craft. MJ continued and continued and continued to work on his craft. And one thing I like that he said is that he didn't want to have to be carried off the court. He wanted to walk away while he still could. As you guys know, we were practically starting to drag Kobe off the court. Kobe, you can't walk, Kobe! But I also love Kobe for that too. It just showed how much he loved it. He loved the game. But yeah, watching this documentary is nostalgic and is so inspirational on so many different levels. If you haven't been watching, guys, watch it. Catch up. It's on ESPN. They replay it all the time. It's on the ESPN app, and I'm sure you can find it. I think they say there's like an illegal way to get all the episodes for free, right, on some website. So it's everywhere. Watch it. I will be back next week talking about this, and I will plan out the basketball or nothing live stream with everyone. I love you guys so much. I'm going to be uploading more on this channel. If you aren't already following me on Instagram, follow me at Ty1onsports. Links in the description. Also Twitter at Ty1onsports. But make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you soon. Damn much love.